They say you can't tell your own story when you're dead. Lucky for you, I've never cared about rules. Born on an American base in England, my dad was a soldier. My mom was the kind of woman who could make a martini before breakfast. My father left me with two things: a fear of nothing and a knack for running from pain. By high school, I'd mastered two trades: hustling and pretending I wasn't hustling. Graduated in '67, majored in math, minored in chaos. I didn't know what I wanted, but I knew I didn't want normal. First big gig, NASA. I helped calculate rocket trajectories while experimenting with a different kind of launch, LSD. Every job taught me two things: how to solve problems and how to cause them.
And I'm telling you, you're wrong.
John, it's a computer virus, infecting PCs everywhere.
And just like that, I saw my future. Not clean, not safe, but profitable. And that, my friends, is when I stopped working for people and started making the world work for me. Silicon Valley in the 80s. Everyone was selling the future. I just decided to sell the cure for it. I called it Virus Scan, and it was good. Good enough to scare people into buying it.
You're the only antivirus company. Today? Yes. Tomorrow? Still yes, but more expensive.
The thing about fear, it scales. One virus hits 100 computers, I sell 100 licenses. 1,000 computers, you get the idea.
Virus Scan is a hit!
And here's the trick. Make security cool. Nobody wants to buy a seatbelt, but make it a status symbol. They'll line up. We went public. Overnight, I was worth $100 million. On paper, anyway. It should have been the happily ever after. But there's a problem with making millions. You start wondering, what happens if you make billions? By '94, I was bored. Sold my shares, walked away. The company kept my name. I kept my freedom. If you think that's the part where I retire to a yacht and behave, you clearly don't know me yet. You sell your company, pocket $100 million. What's the first thing you do? Me? I bought planes, built mansions, started a yoga retreat in Colorado. Because why not? I tried normal rich guy hobbies, golf, art collecting, hated it.
So it's like AOL Messenger?
No, like a much cooler AOL Messenger.
It tanked, but hey, fail fast, right? Then I tried biotech, because clearly my computer skills translated perfectly to genetics. Turns out, money's a lot like antivirus software. You think you're safe until you're not. So I did what anyone would do. Sold what I could, took what I couldn't sell, and moved to a country where no one asks too many questions. Belize. Sunshine, cheap rum, and the perfect place to reinvent yourself or disappear. But paradise has a funny way of turning into hell, especially when you invite hell in. Belize. I came for the sunshine. I stayed because, well, I thought I could run my own little kingdom. Officially, I was researching natural antibiotics. Unofficially, I was experimenting with anything I could get my hands on. Belize taught me something. When you've got money, people either want it or want to take you down. The government said I was making drugs. I said I was making medicine. Neither of us were lying. Then came Gregory Fall, my neighbor. Nice guy, but he didn't like my dogs. Complained to the cops. One morning, he turns up dead, shot in the head. The cops said I was a person of interest. I call that bad for tourism. So I did what I always do when trouble comes knocking. I didn't answer the door. I crossed into Guatemala, where I figured I could lay low. But Vice magazine had other plans. See, when you let journalists follow you, make sure they turn off the location tracking on their cameras. Guatemala, safe haven, new identity, clean getaway. That was the plan. Then I invited Vice magazine to hang out. We had fun. Interviews, photos. What could go wrong? Oh, right. GPS data. In my defense, Vice swore they turned it off. They arrested me for illegal entry, which, technically, yes, I walked in without permission, but who hasn't done that at a party? I needed time. So I faked 2 heart attacks. It worked. Guatemala sent me home instead of back to Belize. Cops there weren't thrilled, but hey, finders keepers. Overnight, I went from fugitive to folk hero. Some people run from the spotlight. Me, I packed sunglasses. Of course, fame is like tequila. Feels great at first, then leaves you face down wondering what happened. December 2012. I'd just been deported from Guatemala to Miami. No compound, no crew, just me and whatever came next. South Beach doesn't sleep. Neither did I. The very next night, I met Janice.
Rough night?
Ha 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 ha. You have no idea. She didn't know who I was. She hadn't seen the headlines about me. We talked, too long for strangers, long enough for something else. Reports later said she was working the strip that night. That's true. Life is complicated. People even more so. Why would I care?
So, where's home, John?
Good question. I'll let you know when I find it. Some stories say her pimp wanted to use her to set me up, to figure out where I was staying. She didn't play along. That told me plenty.
I saw things on TV today. You don't seem like the person they say you are.
Media's never met me. You have. I'd been many things in the news. In person, I just am who I am.
You should sleep.
She stayed, not for the story, for the person inside it. The headlines didn't explain why we fit. They never could. But we did. We married in 2013. Different worlds, same fight. I was the storm, she was the shore. If you want to understand the rest of my story, we start here, the night after Miami. I'd already been a millionaire, a fugitive, a media circus. What's left? President of the United States, obviously. The libertarians were perfect for me. They didn't like the government, and the government didn't like me.
What's your stance on cyber defense?
Cyber defense? I invented cyber defense, and then I spent the rest of my life proving nobody's safe. I didn't win in 2016, but losing never stopped me from trying again. Yes, I'll be running for president again. For the 2020 run, I campaigned in Exile, which is just a fancy way of saying international hide-and-seek. I knew I wouldn't win. That wasn't the point. The point was to keep the spotlight, keep the message alive, and keep the IRS wondering where I was. Politics for me was theater, and I was always the star of my own show. But while I was busy playing president, the next act was already sneaking up on me. By 2017, I was done with politics. The future wasn't in Washington. It was on the blockchain. And I made sure everyone heard me loud and clear. Forget Wall Street. This is the new frontier. Crypto isn't just money. It's freedom. And freedom is non-negotiable. I turned myself into the prophet of crypto. Every tweet was gospel. Every prediction, a headline. Bitcoin will hit $1 million by 2020. Or I'll eat my own. Every word I spoke shook the markets. And when new coins came calling, I gave them my blessing for a price. They called it pump and dump. I called it entrepreneurship. The government, they called it $23 million I forgot to mention. I hope those that bought Doge on my tweet are still holding. Borders don't matter out here. Neither do subpoenas. To the world, I was chaos. To Janice, I was just John. By 2019, the US wanted my head on a platter. Tax evasion, fraud, whatever they could cook up. So I did what I always did best. I ran, not on foot, by sea. Borders, subpoenas, those are for people on land. Out here, the only law is the tide. Janice didn't sign up for this chase. But she stayed. Always stayed. They can't touch me out here. The Bahamas became my new stage, for now. The yacht wasn't escape. It was a declaration. As long as I was moving, I was free. The run didn't end at sea. It never ends. It's who I am. In 2019, the U.S. was circling me. Tax charges, whispers of fraud. So I went where their reach was weakest, the sea. But the sea has borders too.
Captain, those aren't fishing boats.
Relax, they're just curious. Everyone wants a look at John McAfee. I told myself it was curiosity, but in my gut, I knew it was a hunt.
You know they'll see this as trafficking, right?
These are tools. Out here, a man protects himself. Nobody else will.
¡Alto!
What do we do, John?
¡Bajen las armas!
You don't do anything. Watch the show.
Why so many guns, Senor McAfee?
Because the people chasing me don't knock on doors. They kick them in. 4 days. They could have sent me anywhere. Back to the U.S., straight to Belize. But luck's a strange friend. They let me choose. I picked London. Lost the guns, lost the yacht. Kept the legend. They thought they had me cornered. But the game wasn't over. Not yet. Late 2019. Bahamas. Yacht gone. Arsenal seized. I needed a new postcode. A place where the press still feared to tread. London it was. Fog, fashion, fortified anonymity. I told Janice, in Exile, every step becomes artifice. She nodded. All right, we go live in 5. Remember, no apologies. Only statements.
And no viral meltdown?
That's optional. Media loved me when I was bold. In Exile, I became their myth. New interviews, new platforms, new trouble. Governments are the virus. We created the cure. London bought me time. But time is the cruelest kind of currency for someone who's always running. Then came 2020, a pandemic, mask orders, lockdowns, governments locking the doors on everyone showing fear. Time to capitalize. They want your fear. I'll trade them the facts. Heath officials said wear a mask. I said no thank you. London was the pause, but the chase never really stops. (2020). The world locked down. Borders closed. Fear rose. And I wandered. Exile doesn't end because of a global pandemic. It just mutates. Masks went from optional to mandatory overnight. Rules changed faster than governments could tweak them. I'd always had my own style, so I decided, I'll mask my way.
Sir, your face covering doesn't meet regulation. You must replace it with an approved mask or step aside.
This is as approved as I get. They said I was arrested in Norway wearing a thong as my mask, or Germany, or maybe both. The truth, the story spread faster than fact. I never asked them to stop it. I posted the picture myself. Black eye, police uniform saying Polizei. The headline said Norway, but the truth was, it was all me pulling a mirror up to the media. While they searched for where I was, I focused on why. Why the mask? Why the chase? Because control is the illusion they sell. Freedom is the virus they fear.
Flight leaves in 4 hours. We need to disappear.
Disappearing is not running. It's repositioning. The mask was absurd. The moment was perfect. Because when you're wanted, every second becomes a message, and every message becomes a weapon. Late 2019 into 2020. Yacht confiscated. Europe felt inviting and dangerous. I found a place most people would never hear about. A ghost hotel on Spain's coast. No reservations, no staff, no normal life. They called it a ghost hotel. Empty rooms, no guests, but security guards outside. Inside, a basement, mining cryptocurrency 24/7. I set up shop, away from prying eyes. While governments clenched borders, I clenched for freedom. The mask mandates and pandemic chaos were nothing more but noise outside my walls. Clues piled up. A Catalan water bottle, a beach photo. The press traced me. They said, he's in Spain, hiding in a hotel with connections to a very powerful Russian oligarch. Janice packed. I watched her from the screen. She said little. She didn't need to. We were both fugitives. But I still felt like the star of this escape movie. In a place meant for ghosts, I lived loud. It wasn't hiding, it was rebuilding. Because you don't erase your past by being less visible. You erase it by being elsewhere entirely. "2019 turned into 2020. The chase never stopped. It changed rhythm. I swapped yachts for apartments and hotels, islands for airports. But the hunters don't wait for you to slow down. They wait for you to make a mistake. We are in London, out of reach. But out of reach means little when the net tightens quietly. They're tracing us. But what's new?
Should we move again?
Yeah. I would say it's about that time. Logistics used to excite me. Now they weigh me down. The boat gave freedom, but it also gave a location. When you're a target, every spark is a flare. They're closing in, not loud, not with sirens, with forms, with trackers, with blur between legal and illegal. I need to go dark. Appearances matter less than impression. They assume I'm hiding in plain sight. Maybe I am. Ready for the next turn?
Whatever you say.
Barcelona, October 3rd, 2020. El Prat Airport. I was boarding a flight to Istanbul. Then the lights changed color. Not literally, just for me. Interpol ping. U.S. request. Good morning, John. You're not flying anywhere today.
John, a moment, por favor.
They step aside. Handcuffs click. Discreet but final.
You are arrested at the request of the United States for tax crimes.
John allegedly evaded his tax liability by directing his income to accounts in the names of nominees.
And concealing assets, including real property, a vehicle, and a yacht in the names of others.
John, Estados Unidos está solicitando tu extradición por cargos fiscales.
I understand the request. I contest the premise. Paperwork is the modern handcuff. Spain had the papers. The U.S. had the pen.
Why Istanbul?
Because the horizon always points somewhere. They said I faced up to 30 years. Numbers make good headlines. People forget that time is elastic when you live outside the clock. Crypto, consulting, speeches, millions, they said. Taxes I didn't file. 7 years, they said. Stories multiply when you stop writing your own. They moved me here to wait extradition, pending. Waiting has a sound. It's the hum of a fluorescent light you can't switch off. June 23rd, 2021. Spain's High Court would approve extradition, but that's another episode. Today's story ends here. Brian's 2. Sant Esteve Ses Reviers. A prison tucked in the Catalan hills. Quiet, neat, almost polite about the fact that it's a cage. You imagine prison as noise, fights, metal, chaos. But real confinement Real confinement whispers. After my arrest at the Barcelona airport, they brought me here, October 2020. My world shrank to a cell and a schedule I didn't write.
Remove your belt. Personal items in the tray.
I'd spent decades outrunning forms, signatures, systems, but inside prison, the system greets you kindly. It doesn't chase, it waits.
You'll have a cellmate. Meals are at 7, 13, and 20. Showers on rotation.
Prison routine is a clock with no hands. Time passes, but not forward. People imagine danger, but the truth? Most men in prison just want the day to end.
How are they treating you?
Like a guest they'd prefer not to entertain. Calls were measured, short, monitored, but her voice cut through the walls better than the sun through the window. The lawyers filed motions. The courts prepared papers. The U.S. pushed for extradition. Spain held the keys, while Washington held the pen. I waited. Months. Fluorescent seasons. People say prison breaks a man, but it doesn't. It reveals what was cracked long before the bars. October became November, then winter. But days don't change much behind steel. And yet, the world outside kept moving. Courts, cases, headlines. Every tick of their clock tightened the ropes of mine. In prison, letters become currency. Not the kind you trade, the kind you cling to. Evidence that someone out there still says your name. I wrote to Janice, to friends, to lawyers who saw me as a puzzle with documents attached. Words mattered more here. You only send what you can live with being read by strangers.
We'll get it processed, John.
Everything has a process, even love.
The extradition case is moving. Slowly, but moving.
Spanish bureaucracy is like a cathedral, grand, elaborate, and built so no single person can rush through it.
Good evening. We're following breaking developments out of Madrid tonight. Spain's highest court has approved the extradition of tech entrepreneur John McAfee.
Outside, reporters talked about millions. Millions I supposedly made. Millions I supposedly hid. Numbers make better stories than people.
Saw you on the news again.
Did they at least use a flattering photo? People think the walls close in, but they don't. They stay exactly where they are. It's you who changes shape.
Hey, John. Who you writing today?
Someone who reads between the lines. Letters pushed through systems, boxes, stamps, hands, machines. Every page a piece of me smuggled past the walls. Time in Brian's 2 wasn't cruel. It wasn't kind either. It just existed. Days built from letters, walls, and waiting. And the sound of decisions being made far away, on desks I'd never see. Courts are strange places, not because of justice, but because of distance. Your future is decided in rooms you're never in, by people you'll never meet.
Hey there, John. Legal meeting. Video link.
June 23rd, another day that looked the same as the last, until it wasn't.
John, the High Court has issued its decision. They approved the extradition.
The Audiencia Nacional, Spain's High Court. A signature, a stamp. 30 years, at least on paper. But paper is heavy when your life is written on it. 7 tax years, counts, claims, allegations, some true, some twisted, some simply convenient. But the U.S. wanted me back, and Spain finally agreed.
You okay?
Define okay.
So news?
The kind that comes with a return address. Prison teaches you to take everything in small doses. Food, sleep, hope. Bad news comes the same way, one measured spoonful at a time. The press called it inevitable. Tax crimes, Cryptocurrency schemes. Fugitive tech millionaire. Everyone had a headline ready. It's easy to write a man's story when he can't reply. Extradition. A word that sounds like relocation, but feels like a sentence. Spain had made its decision. The US was waiting. And I had hours to absorb a verdict that took years to build. Some decisions echo before they land, and some hit you all at once. June 23rd ended like any other day, but something in the air felt final. June 23rd, 2021. Morning came the same way it always did. Quiet, colorless, and without apology. But sometimes, the ordinary carries a weight you only feel in hindsight.
You sleep at all?
Sleep is a negotiation. I rarely win. I wasn't restless, just attentive, like the air was sharpening around me. People imagine final days are dramatic, visions, revelations, a swelling soundtrack. Truth is simpler. You go through motions you've memorized.
John? Are you there?
I'm here.
They said the court ruled.
They did. There are things you don't say on recorded lines, things you can only express in pauses. Extradition wasn't just a destination, it was a timeline, a countdown. And on that morning, it felt like the clock had finally chosen a direction. The yard felt different, still routine, but softened, like the world was trying to say one last thing and didn't know how.
You coming?
I'll stay here a while. It wasn't solitude, it was clarity. A moment alone with the walls I'd lived with for months. People measure life in years, but some days hold entire lifetimes inside them. June 23rd was one of those. A day made of quiet choices, none loud enough to hear until much later. I didn't know it was my last sunset. I only knew the day felt heavier, like it was carrying something I hadn't been told yet. But endings rarely announce themselves. They simply arrive. They say a tattoo is forever. Mine was a prophecy, a sign, a promise. It said, whacked on my arm. Back in 2019, I said it out loud. I knew they were coming for me. Not just to charge me, to silence me. I tweeted that from a place of fear and defiance, a combination no one likes to admit. In prison, you feel every second, every whisper, every rumor, even the rumors about you. And the internet, it exploded. They saw my tattoo. They saw my tweets. Some said I was paranoid. Some said I was prophetic.
Hey, how was your day?
It was fine. Quiet.
Just quiet?
Quiet is enough most days.
Are you okay?
I'm okay. Just in a cell. That's it.
I wish I could do more.
You do enough. Talking is enough. Normal conversation, but nothing was normal. Just the two of us, on either side of walls that couldn't touch us.
John McAfee, found dead today in a prison cell in Spain.
They ruled my death a suicide. Catalan government said everything points to suicide.
Software mogul John McAfee was found dead in his prison cell this week.
The prison is investigating how McAfee died. Right now, they say evidence indicates he may have died by suicide.
The software mogul died by hanging.
The 75-year-old was arrested last October at the international airport in Barcelona on tax evasion charges.
A statement from the Catalonia Regional Government Justice Department says everything indicates McAfee may have died by suicide.
He was 75. And a wild ride of a life it was.
An autopsy confirmed it. A court later denied reopening the investigation. But what is everything? To some, everything is all the evidence. To others, everything is a lie. Whacked. A word. A warning. Or something else. They'll tell you how it ended. How the story stopped. But I don't know. And maybe you shouldn't either.